Welcome to the 30-Year-Old Virgin podcast, where we discuss all things sex, love, and relationships. I am your host and your favorite late bloomer, Allison Cadena. And on today's episode, I've managed to trick two beautiful men into talking to me for an hour. Just kidding. What I do have is two wonderful gentlemen here who are going to give us the male perspective on some of the topics that the ladies in our community submitted. So a big welcome to our guests, Jamie and Saachin.
Hello. Hi.
Hey guys. Thank you for having me,
How you
Allison.
doing? Thank you for having me, Allison.
I do a clap because there's no studio audience.
You said,
I just
we don't have a studio. I mean, we can be the studio audience and
For
the
yourself.
act. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, before we get into some of their opinions and takes on the questions that were submitted, I want to let the audience know a little bit about you guys. So first off, we have Jamie, aka Jay Stellar.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
nice. See, nice. Got it.
Thank you, the audience. I appreciate it. Man.
You're welcome. Man.
The enthusiasm
I
is
make
alive.
the sound of 1 billion people. I mean,
So Jamie is a personal trainer, a DJ, and a producer,
Yes,
and he
sir.
bullies me at the gym. He's very mean.
AKA motivate, okay? You take it as bullying, but it's actually motivation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody out there know. And the audience over here.
Yes, and the audience.
yes, audience, yes.
And
I need a
then
personal trainer.
Saachin is a comedian, writer, and fool who believes in making jokes rather than doing something constructive. You may recognize him from TikTok, where all the ladies go crazy for literally him brushing his hair. But he also does really funny TikToks as well.
I
So-
think I try to be funny. Yeah, I try to be funny, but my fans, I don't have fans. Sorry.
I think you are funny,
Mhm.
but your fans disregard it because they are just obsessed with you.
I just go whenever I try to make a comment. They're like, shh.
They're
Just sit there and look pretty.
Just be beautiful.
they're
You don't
making your
need
job
anything
easy.
else.
You don't gotta say anything. Just
Well, I'm
sit there, enjoy the view.
I should, but I'm a comedian, so that's what I make. That's my trade.
You see, that's why I always said, like to be a comedian, you can't be that good looking because I feel like it's distracting. And I always tell my comedian friends this, like you can't
Interesting.
be going up there, put a t-shirt on because like you can't be going up there looking all good. No one is listening to you.
But you know what? I think whenever people see me in person, everything goes away because like the camera is not doing its magic right. The
Oh, that little
iPhone camera,
TikTok
yeah, the
filter.
iPhone makes me look better. So when they see me in person, they're like, "Oh, you are a comic." So,
Oh, they're like, you know what? Give me my ticket money back.
you have the
Wow.
face for radio. No, I'm kidding. But
Okay, so now that they know a little bit about you guys, we are going to get into some of the questions that were submitted. They're kind of a wide range, so we're just going to go right into it. Now, ladies, this is pre-recorded. I don't know when this is dropping, so don't be weird and slide in everybody's DMs because they might be single today and not tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to just put that out there.
no, let them slide. I don't get.
All right,
DMs
fine.
like
You know
that,
what?
yeah.
Put it. Maybe you might sit in there for a bit. That's the only thing. But
Just gotta take a chance. You never know.
yeah. So first, just to get an idea where you guys are coming from,
Mhm.
who's actively dating? Are you on apps? Are you in the streets? What? Like, give us just
I
an
wanna say-
idea.
I'll forever belong to the streets, but
I like the honesty.
yeah, but I'm innately I'm a whore, but otherwise I just want to not discuss my personal life if I can, because I don't know, it just feels awkward to me to discuss that aspect. It's just I never know what situation I am in, so until and unless I'm not sure, like I'm even the culture that I belong to, like we go through relationships, breakups, everything, and our parents don't know anything about it, like ever. So I try to make it, only when I make it official is when I say that, all right, I'm in a thing. Otherwise, I don't. So
I definitely agree. It's always better to keep your life private. You never know who's watching with bad intents, But it goes in everything in life, not just dating. Me, I'm single. If I'm single and I'm just gonna put it out there, I wouldn't care. But if I was seeing somebody, I don't think I'll put it out there until it's official.
Yeah, and I think especially also like both of you have kind of like a creative outlet that you're pursuing.
yeah,
It's a little weird sometimes to like, what do I keep to myself and like
Yeah.
what's part of that public image.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
I know. I mean, like you want to, especially when you're trying to be as public as you are with your art, you just want to make sure that there's like a shred of privacy there, where it's like even It adds to the intrigue a little bit as well, where people want to know more, but they're also distant. So that, I mean, especially in the day and age that we live in, like social media compels you to form like parasocial relationships. So you don't want what you're doing in your personal life to affect what art you're trying to put out. So that's how I try to keep it separate.
And I think on top of that, the little privacy in a way is like a little peace of mind as well. You don't just put everything out there, because then you won't have anything to yourself in a sense. You always want to keep grounded to yourself, and I feel like that privacy adds on to that as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Look at me nodding along like we're not on my podcast where I tell everybody all my business.
Wait, so you tell everything? You throw it all out there? Okay.
Some of these episodes.
Hey, I mean, for some people,
tune in.
So for some people, that peace of mind is letting that all out as well. So there's no one or the other.
I think it's like a purposeful, like I mean, first of all, like part of my personal life is gonna come out anyway in the music, but like
that's true too.
Then I'm like, all right, well, if I like telling my business, how can I make it purposeful? We're gonna put a name on it, make it a podcast, drop an episode a week.
Also set it to music. That's what you do, right?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Write lyrics.
Yes. I'm on very much on a Taylor Swift vibe. Everybody gets a song, you get a song, and you get a song.
I think that's really brave, putting yourself out there in the lyrics as well. You putting your soul and sweat and tears into this. And I look at artists like that, like they're just singing their heart out, and I'm like, damn, that takes a lot of courage, because I don't think I'll be able to get on stage and sing my heart out like that. I can't sing though, so that adds on to it. But, it
but that also helps you get a lot of ass as well if you're open. They go, all right, now she's single.
That is true. Like, girls go for the musicians, right? Let us know in the comments.
Saachin also sings, so he know about this. He's like, that's how I get ass.
I'm gonna use everything at my disposal.
I'm just the guy in behind producing. I'm like, damn, I can't sing. I'm in the keyboard.
You build the ass that Saachin then gets.
That is hilarious.
For that, I'm very grateful.
I got you. No worries.
Nice. So, okay. Have you guys used dating apps? Let's start with this. Are you on there now? Where can I find you?
You want to go first?
Sure. I have. I'm not on it now. Well, I guess
I've actually seen your profile before.
Yeah.
And I was so insulted you didn't match back. I was like, not even as a courtesy.
I was about to say, usually people I know, I kind of like don't want to, I don't want to be like, we match. I'm like, nope, to the left. But yeah, so I used to have I kind of do
point, if I may interrupt you, you don't have that intrigue where you go, I'm gonna swipe right on them just to see if they swipe back.
Sometimes,
like those people you meet, you have something for them, but you don't have the guts to tell them, so you just go, you know what, I'm gonna wait for the app.
Yeah, sometimes it does. It depends on the person, to be honest. I think when it comes to like the gym, I'm just like, no, I don't want to mess with that. It's different, I want to. But if it's a friend of a friend or somebody new, what if she puts sure, why not? We'll see what happens. But having said that, so I still have Tinder, I think. I don't think I deleted it, but I go on like every couple of months when I'm bored or something. But Tinder was the first and only social app that I had like that. I know there's others out there, but I haven't tried it yet. So that's just me.
Oh, I was on everything.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Coffee Meets Bagel. Yeah, I was there. I'm like, this is a game of statistics. I'm in it to win it.
It is.
I was like, as many numbers as I can put in. I would do dating apps like it was my day job. And I was like, I was just like on it, obsessed with it. And then I started doing TikTok, and I was like, I have another obsession now. So,
which TikTok is a dating app, if you ask me, because they be.
I know for a fact that works like that as well. I've had like a couple of people who like follow me and like comment on one of my videos, and they'd go, "Hey, what you doing over the weekend?" And I won't respond to it. I just like it and move on. And then it'd be like, he's not interested. So they'd unfollow me. I'm like, I saw that. Wow, I saw that. How can I keep you but not date you? Can I just do that? Because like you've seen me do this. And I don't know, sometimes some of the TikToks that I make, I cringe at them. So I'm like, I don't want them to see this part of me, because that's a part of me. That's not me always. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is. But even then, you just don't want that app to like social media. I'm just like, somehow I'm not comfortable with the idea of just meeting a random person on TikTok and going like, all right, I'm going to use this. But like when I was on dating apps, believe me, I just put in the work. Like my texts, my opening messages were perfect.
Nice. Yeah, you got to give us an example then.
So I would when people would say pickup lines or something, I would do like an anti-pickup. There was like a meta pickup line, but I would say something on the lines of I was going to go with a cheesy pickup line, but I am hoping a simple hello would suffice and just let that, because I'm just saying hi and I'm not using a pickup line. But I was like, I'm pretty sure you're not the person who's into cheesy things. So it would be like reverse psychology or something. A little bit.
That's how you know you're attractive, because if you were ugly, they'd be like, "Look at this bum. He didn't even put no effort into it."
Yeah, I know. I have done the pickup lines too. I don't remember if I've done many pickup lines, but I would try to find, like, when I say work, I would put in the work, like read their profiles, see what their interests are, and then be like, hey, maybe we could like go play tennis. Loser buys drinks or whatever. And they wouldn't respond to it, but I would send another message to someone else, something along similar lines. But I would explore the profile and be like, oh, this is something of interest. Like, women make it easier. But there are a lot of profiles that go, it's I'm sarcastic, and if you haven't seen The Office, swipe and I'm like, I would swipe left on them, but I would just go for the ones who put in some effort in their own profiles too. So
I was going to ask, actually, that was my next question, if you guys actually read the profiles, because I feel like every time I match with someone, they don't know anything about me, and I'm like, it's there in the profile. There's literally a video of me singing, and I went on like 3 dates with a guy before he realized that I sang, and I'm like, it was right. I'm pretty sure it's even under my job. Like, I don't understand.
You see, I have. So this is the thing. Like, we match who we match with. Like, we don't have options. We just swipe right on everything.
You just go,
yes,
1, 2,
and then
3.
whoever matches, and then we go, all right, now I'll look to your profile. You can't really, I mean, like, the amount of people we try to match with, dudes especially, I think dudes take what we get.
I mean, I think that's part true. For me, it depends on my mood. Either like I'm just trying to get a match and I'm just swiping, or I'm kind of bored and just like want to see what somebody writes for a profile, or if I'm trying to update my profile, thinking what are people writing the profiles nowadays, I'll read the profiles. But there has been moments where I'm just like swipe, oh, match, swipe. So it depends, I guess. But once you match, I think it's a must to read the profile to kind of have a higher chance of getting a response. Or maybe reverse psychology, you write some other stuff in there and then they just be like, hey, didn't read my profile? And then I don't know if that works or not, but there's different ways around it. But for me, it was either swipe, or read the profile. Depends.
I think with women, it doesn't work if you haven't read the profile. I mean, like, I would only meet people who I had a conversation with for like 3 or 4 days. I wouldn't just go, hey, do you want to get a drink in the evening? That never works, because then I tried it a couple of times, but then the date sucked. So I'm like, I don't want to
vet out anything.
Yeah, because there was no connection. So I'm like, I need to get some sort of connection. If they can't keep a conversation going, what's the point of even trying to meet them? It's just, everything's going to be bad. Like, I at least personally for me, like, there needs to be some sort of a vibe or energy. If there's nothing, I just can't go after someone who just is attractive looking and be like, all right, I'm going to get that. I can't do that. I need like some sort of connection. So I would read profiles. So I mean, like, I would suggest like read profiles and write something in response to that, instead of just being like, hey, how's it going? And I mean, what are the conversations going to be like? I don't know.
I can tell you from the women's side, the conversations are horrible.
Oh, yeah.
When they don't read the profile, first, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of men that don't know how to make conversations. You'd be like, oh, how's your weekend?
I was going to think of that.
That drives me nuts. Can y'all tell your people that, like, if I ask you how your weekend is, give me like 3 more words than what you're giving me.
Oh, so quick tip. When you're like, I think when you're having a conversation, especially through text message, you usually want to end it with like a question back.
Exactly.
So they can answer back. You don't want to just end it like a yes or no, because then they'll be like, okay, like, what do I say? This is too hard. At least me, I'm like, I don't even want to think. Whatever. Next, you know?
Yeah. No, there's so many people, at least in my experience, that I've matched with on dating apps. Like, how's your weekend? They're like, good. Riveting. So, like, where am I supposed to go with that?
Yeah, it was, I don't know, use your words, man. I mean, like, use your adjectives and phrases and be like, hey, the weekend was great. I had something. I mean, like, I think the one easy way to make conversation is just describe what you ate for breakfast. the best breakfast of the weekend, and then you'll go into detail, and people will be like, "Hey, what's your favorite form of breakfast? What do you like to eat?"
For me, I had kind of like a routine. So I like to have most of the conversation in person. I think text is very like bland, you know. So I would be like, "Hey, you know, how's your day? How's it going? Blah blah. Oh, where you from?" And then they'll ask me like, "What do you mean? Like where my location or my nationality?" And then I'll be like, "Both." You know. So they'll tell me one, I'm like, "Okay, I'm here, I'm there. Oh, that's cool. You live close. You don't live close. What do you do for work?" So we had conversation back and forth for a few days or maybe 2 days, and then from that point, I'll be like, "Okay, what's your IG or what's your number? Let's text." And then from there, I'll be like, "Hey, do you want to go on a date?" type of thing. So by that point, we already had a couple of days of conversating. I have their social media. So it seems like we're not as much of a stranger anymore. And then I'll be able to get the date. And at the date, I'll be able to, I guess, be myself more because you can't see my face expression or the jokes. It won't be the same in person. It's definitely a different vibe in person.
Right.
So I always try to get them into the date to really get to know them and then see if I find them interesting or not and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I had like rules. I'd be like, if we have had a conversation for like 3 days straight, then I would be like, "Hey, can we meet in person? I'd like to have conversations in person." I would say that, and then I'd also not ask for social media profiles or phone numbers because it's like it's going to be on the same phone. So if you're going to be texting, if you open the app or you open the text messaging app, it's going to be the same thing. So don't go for numbers because like it's also an issue of safety for the women, I suppose, because it's like once you have a number, then it goes into a little bit more personal territory. But if you're just on an app, then you can see what the vibe is like, and then if you want to do something about it at the date, then it's fine.
I usually ask for IG because it was back then I used it most when IG was just getting started. I guess it was like 2016, 2015.
Yeah. See, I think it's interesting because like me, I mean, I can't speak for all women. I would prefer that they ask my phone number because I've at least found, and a couple of my friends said the same, that like when they add you on social media, you never hear from them again. And then they just watch your stories for like the rest of your life. And I don't know. I think there's some people that are like in the apps and they're just there casually to kill time. And so for them, it's like, all right, now I see your IG, kind of like, I'm over it. I'm moving on to the next thing. Versus if you have my number, you use it or you don't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I guess, I mean, if you follow me on IG and you don't do anything, I should have the same mentality. But like, it bothers me that I'm like, motherfucker, you see me? I'm still cute. Like, ask me out.
I don't know. I don't know why I would never do that. Like in the sense that I don't look at IG stories of anyone. Like if I'm not on IG as much, I would have loved to have been on IG and that person who posts photos all the time. But I was never that person. So I would not even look at someone's story. So as soon as someone says, "Hey, just share IG with me and then we can get in touch there," I was like almost out. I was like, all right, I got another follower and that was it.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, if it's a text message, I feel like you do it more intentionally. So to your question, in response to your question, I think I would prefer number more than IG or anything, just like you said.
I was definitely the guy Ali was talking about at certain times. I would actually, IG, the reason I asked for the IG was most people put their best pictures on the app, right? It makes sense. So I want to see more than just your best pictures. I just want to see more than just 5 pictures. I want to see some videos too, maybe your stories. Back then, there was no stories before IG. But that's the reason why I usually ask for IG as well. And yeah, I'll gain a follower. I'll see your story, whether I think you're really cute or not. Maybe it was the filters on the pictures. Who knows, you know?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't know until you meet with that person regardless. You know, but that was part of the reason. And if I didn't find them as cute, I would just watch the story once in a while when they pop up. Or I'll like the picture because, like I said, back then there was no stories.
You just traumatized me because what you said was, if I didn't think they were that cute.
I'm being honest. I tell you I was going to be honest, you know?
They didn't think I was that cute.
Or maybe they found somebody else before they went on a date with you, right?
That's what I think too. I get the impression, I think it depends on the app too. I think on Tinder, there's like a very small window of interest of like, I think people on Tinder are very quick to swipe. And so if you don't catch them in a conversation in that moment and like grab their attention for a while, you'll never hear from them again. Because I found like even if I text them today and they don't respond till tomorrow, like that conversation never really ends up going anywhere. Like it never picks up. On Hinge and like the other apps is not so much, but on Tinder, I just think people are too like, they're quick. You got to catch them when you catch them. Like
on Tinder?
I think it's like social media dating or on the app dating is very competitive. I think especially for guys. I think girls gonna get a lot of matches regardless. Guys, she's got to go through a lot of yes and no's to get a match. You know, and even
it's
then,
mostly no's. It's like we're all
it's true.
Guys are always auditioning. It's like the whole thing is an audition process. Like you date, like it's like, oh, I'm gonna be great at this conversation. Let me find more about her. Let me try to get more interesting. You'll go find something, find a link or whatever, send it to them and whatnot. Guys put in the work, and then you get to the date, and then you have to be interesting too, because it depends on what you want as well from the date.
It's true. For me, I was the opposite. I wouldn't put as much work in the app itself, but once I was in person, I guess I don't know. I'm better one-on-one than group setting. Group setting, I'm a little shy. One-on-one, I become a little more extrovert. And I'm able to hold a conversation with the girl. And if I make her laugh, then I'm like, all right, I'm doing good. You know, that's number one key. You got to make him laugh. You know?
That's the key.
That's why he's a comedian. He knows.
He knows. You have to do bits. You have to be like, this is going to be my opening joke. This is what I'm going to do. Like, you have to have a set ready.
But you don't feel like, I mean, I don't know. For me, because I'm funny, sometimes I confuse like a good date with like I was killing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll go on a date and I'm like, wow, like that was a great date. We had such a connection. And then I'm thinking back and I'm like, no, he was just really good at setting me up for good jokes. But it was like I was doing all the legwork.
Well,
like,
I mean, listen, I mean, as a comedian, I would just go in and be like, I got a bunch of laughs. And sometimes I wouldn't really care how the date went as long as I had a good time.
That's true.
And like that's also important. I think
I agree.
You keep yourself in the center. I mean, not in the sense where you go, I'm going to talk the whole time and they're going to listen, but also like if you're having a good time, then I suppose the other person's also having a good time.
And I think it goes for both ways, you know. Whoever doesn't matter whoever asks who on the date, you both should be having a good time. And if you're not, then I don't know, that's hard. Do you get up? Do you leave? Do you stay there and try to like wait till the end till it finishes? That's hard. Have you ever had a bad day like that? You were like, I just want to get out of here.
I left one. Yeah.
You left one?
I left one. Like literally left.
You just went to the bathroom and left, or?
No, I told him we're cutting it. So this was in the like beginning of the pandemic when it was like stuff was closed. So I had to be like outdoors or whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you, the man was fine. So I didn't like. He asked me out before we talked too much, and I was like, "Fuck it, we're going." The man is fine.
We had the pandemic. I'm trying to get out the house.
Yeah,
let's do it.
It was, but I really didn't know much. I didn't even remember his name until we got to like. I hadn't saved it, and then I couldn't find it in the app. So we got to the date, and I'm like,
pretty. Why didn't you name? Yeah,
exactly. I literally got there, I was like, "Hey, I'm Allison." Like trying to be funny. He's like, oh, I'm Fulano, whatever his name was. I'm like, okay, yes, remember that's his name. But he like didn't say anything for like a good like 20 minutes into it as we're like, obviously it's a pandemic, everything's closed, we were looking for like a place to get like a drink or whatever. He like didn't say anything for like 20 minutes and he looked like really annoyed, and I was like trying to like make conversation. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like maybe he needs a minute to warm up. Like what's happening? He's fine. I'm giving him a chance. So I'm like, we're gonna make it work. And then at one point we got like drinks or whatever. We sit in the park because this was when they had to go drinks.
Yeah.
And apparently he was bothered because I had on a mask when he got there. Now this was early in the pandemic, and I didn't know I was like, I mean, obviously I'm on a date, so I'm not that strict, but I was like, I didn't know what you're gonna be comfortable with, so I just put it on just in case, right?
Yeah.
So this man, like the moment his ass hits the park bench, he went into like a whole monologue about like his political beliefs and like more than just political beliefs. He had very strong beliefs about like Western medicine, but like really dumb ones. So I'm sorry to say that he was like, you don't need doctors because you got WebMD. You can diagnose yourself. I'm like, do you know where the information on WebMD comes from?
Yeah.
From doctors and scientists.
Yeah. So, but he was attractive. That just goes to show.
No. At this point, he was not anything. No. And he was monologuing for so long and so nonstop that I couldn't even like get in there. Right. And I don't know why I started freaking out. And I'm like, what if he murders me in this part? Like, I don't know. I was just like, I got such a weird vibe that I was like in my own thing. I was like dissociating from this whole date that I'm just like, what if we get murdered in this park right now? Because this guy's fucking weird.
It's like someone would come and stab you and he'd be like, you know what? We don't need medicine.
Yeah. It was just weird. And so then at one point he kind of like slowed down and he was like, anyway, so what about you? And I'm just like, I feel like I was trying to be nice because in my mind I'm getting murdered, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like we have very different views about stuff that you're really passionate about, and so I think maybe we should cut this conversation short because I don't think it's gonna work out. And he's like, oh, okay, so what do you do for fun? And I'm like, no, honey, the whole conversation, the whole thing. And he's like, oh, okay. So then I get up to leave, and he's like, you want me to walk you to the train? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna call an Uber. I'm just walk away, walk away. And as I'm walking out, the man goes, I bet you think Black Lives Matter too. And I'm like, bro, leave one stone unturned. Leave one controversial opinion to yourself.
Oh, so no, he was white. Okay,
yeah, not even.
Okay.
He was a man of color. He was very much a Hispanic man. And I was like, who's going to tell him?
Oh, you found one of those Hispanic Republicans, huh?
Yeah.
So he was Cuban.
Then I learned, like, you got to ask some questions. You can't just take that leap of faith. I was like, oh, look, the good Lord done brought me my family. No.
I think it's well, I don't know. It's been people who have found successful relationships in Tinder, but I think most of it is just short term, to be honest, in my opinion, talking about that.
It depends on what your intentions are. Like if you're going into something being like, all right, I just want to hook up, and like I've always been explicitly clear about these things. Mm-hmm. I really don't want anyone to do any guesswork. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to keep any tact when it comes to that. I'm like, I'm a whore and you're going to deal with me as such. If you want to be with me, it might be long, it might be short, but if I don't want to be in a relationship, I'll make that clear. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to be in something, I would make that clear also. Yeah. So no one had to second guess what I was into. Mm-hmm. And I would make that explicit. I would just say that, I would say what my state of mind was. I would always go for even though it is a very annoying question, I would always ask that question. I'd be like, so what brings you here? What are you here for? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important so that it leaves, like, it makes you clear about the other person's intentions as well. And we're all adults. If you're there on the app to hook up, you can just say it. You don't really need to beat around the bush and be like, you know what, I don't really like that. And then get into it as if it was someone else's idea. You don't want to do that. I would just be explicitly clear.
Yeah. I think I'm very much like that too, but I'm not sure that all of your brethren are like that.
We're not all like that.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, because we kind of talked about this at the gym one day about
I don't like putting all my cards down right away like that. I don't know. It's just I feel like it kind of kills the mood because what if I pull all that down, but I just want to be friends? Because I honestly don't know what I'm going for. Maybe I don't find you as attractive in person, but you're cool. So I want to hang out with you more platonically. You know what I mean? So that's why from the beginning, I don't be like, oh, like I just want this, and that. No, I'm like, let's vibe, let's see where it goes. And then from there, fine. If I just want to mess, I'll let you know. Like, I don't want nothing serious. I'm not ready for a relationship, whatever it is. Right. And if I do want something serious, actually, it's hard. It's hard for me to say I want something serious from the get-go because I need a couple of dates, maybe a couple of months to know if I actually want to be with you for like a long time, Because when I'm in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship for the long run, right? It's not just like a year, okay, I'm bored, I say I'm out. No. I want to be there, I guess, to get married in a way. But obviously, everything's according to pace. I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, let's get married," So that's why it's hard for me to be like, "What are we doing here?" Like, I'm just like.
The impression I get, like in my experience, is that I think men, if they're open to a long-term relationship, they're not like women will intentionally say like, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, right? I'm looking for something serious. I think men that are open to that aren't gonna like you said, put those cards on the table. They're more likely to be like, I just want to see what happens, and they want to take kind of like, I want to meet the person and kind of decide from there. Whereas us women is like, we kind of know from the beginning, like, this is what I'm aiming for. That I'm not saying we all gonna get to that, but this is what I am aiming for. But then when men are like in total hoe mode, when you're in hoe mode and you're like, you're not open to anything else.
I know,
Men, can y'all tell us that though? Because some of us are okay with that, or just don't waste my fucking time.
I say it. I just go for it. But it's also like, if I want to be in a relationship, I'd be like, let's see where it goes. Because if it's relationships especially, I don't really want to be like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, and then you try hard to make it work with someone who isn't like, you don't really vibe with them like that. And then it just turns into a hookup, and then you're like, I want to be out of this as soon as I can. And then it turns into something else. But you said that you wanted to be in a relationship. I'm like, I don't want that. At all.
Adding to that as well, people change with time, right? You're always gonna be show your like I guess you're not gonna show your true colors right away. You're gonna be nice in the beginning, even friends, like it's not even girls or guys or anything. It's just friends. Sometimes people seem like a good person, and then they do shitty shit behind your back, right?
Yeah.
So that's why in the beginning it's always gonna be fun and games until it takes a turn. That you're okay, like you're with me for the long run or not.
So you want time to like figure out, like learn more about them, and then make that decision after.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Would you go to a date and you see that, you're not really attracted to them like that, but like they seem cool? Would you be friends with them? Because I was like explicitly clear that I really don't want any friends from dating apps. I would rather go and seek them organically if that happens. If for friends especially, but on a dating app, I wouldn't be like, hey, the date was like, okay, I like you as a person. Can we hang out? I wouldn't do that. I would never be like, I wouldn't find friends from dating apps because I'm like, that's just not like, because we got into it thinking about something and then that thing just stays, like just lingers. So I would avoid that. Would you make friends from that?
I have made a couple friends, like a few friends on social media. I ended up hooking up with them, to be honest. So it kind of messed it up, right? But that was later on. At first, we were okay, she seems kind of cute. She's cool. We kicked it off. We chilled and whatever. And then we were cool. She was cool. She lived by the house too. So it was like a close friend, a neighborhood friend that I can have as well. And then, and then we hooked up and then it just got
killed
crazy.
Killed
right
it.
away.
Yeah.
But are you really friends until you hook? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Has it ever happened that you met somebody and you said, okay, I want to be friends with this person, or I just want to hook up with this person, whatever, you like kind of put them in a category, but then later that changed?
Yeah, my friend that I hooked up with. She was a friend and she became more.
But you like, okay, I took it as like y'all hooked up one time or whatever, but like, no, she moved into the category of like, now we're hooking up.
Yeah, we hooked up a couple of times and then we became friends again. And now she like has a boyfriend and everything. We just watch stories and stuff. We kind of grew apart a little bit. But yeah, she was cool and then stuff happens.
Yeah. Because I hate to like encourage my people, but like, sometimes women do have that idea of like, oh, he's not looking for something, but I think like he kind of changed his mind.
What your audience has to know, I guess, in a way, is that like I mentioned before, not everybody's gonna show their true colors. So a guy's gonna be he's gonna give you the best. Like he's gonna like take you to like good restaurants, pay for your food, maybe take you shopping, go to the movies, be on top of you, text you, how you doing, how's your day, baby, right? And then once he gets what he wants, that's it. It's cut cold. There are some guys out there like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of gotta like through experience, you kind of gotta like figure out some of the cues. Like, okay, this guy is a red flag. Like he's being too nice. When they're too nice, they're gonna want something, right? So there are guys out there, and you guys do have to look out.
Yeah, you see,
not us though. We're good guys over here.
Yeah,
that's why I brought you. I'm like, what do good guys
exactly
think?
No, so I mean, like if I was hooking up, if it wasn't happening in the first 3 dates, I was like, it's not happening. I don't see the point of getting into it thinking you want to just hook up and then doing like 5 or 6 dates. By the time you're at 5 dates deep, it's already kind of like a pseudo relationship because you're not going to meet like every day for those 5 dates. It's going to be like set apart by a week or whatever. And by the time you're on your 5th date,
like we've been talking for like 2 months.
Yeah,
now.
It's like 2 months. And, count the days before the date as well. Sometimes it just doesn't happen immediately. It takes takes a couple of weeks for you to be like, all right, let's meet on this date. And then the date goes well. And next week they're busy maybe, or you're busy, so you can't meet. So it gets stretched by a week. So on average, it takes anywhere between 2 months to 2.5. And I'm like, I did not get into this hoping to like form like a relationship with you over 2.5 months and then hook up. And then what? Then leave after 2.5 months? It's just strange. I'd rather it happens within 10 days or then you're like, okay, it's not going to happen. Let me move on to the next person.
Now, can you clarify what you mean by it's not going to happen? Are you saying like you decide what it is? Like, or are you saying it's not going to happen?
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. If like it's too much. I mean, like I move quickly. I don't like take too much time. If it's happening right now, or it's not happening. It's just I'm very clear. I know what I'm getting into. This is my intention, and I'm getting into it with the intention of a hookup. If it's not happening, it's not happening. I wish you the best. May you find your soulmate. But otherwise,
Sachin, what is your sign?
I am a Pisces.
Okay, I don't know about that because I was like, I feel like we're right here. I'm like, are you a Capricorn? Because I'm straight to the point. That's what I was telling you in the gym. That I was like, listen, by like date 2 or 3, I already know which lane I'm putting you in.
I feel like when they're straight to the point, it's just too like I don't know. It's too like they have like I don't know. Like their mind works a certain way that I usually don't connect with those people like that. They're like, I want this, this, and that, and if I want to go this way, I'm like, nah, let's just go with the flow, Yeah, I guess I'm Sagittarius. I don't know if that.
Oh, that means you're crappy and no one likes you.
That means people like to party with me, But yeah, I don't know. I just like those. Like, okay, it's too rigid for me. I'm like, nah, like let's not put anything on there. Let's just see how it goes. And not just relationship wise. Like, I want this trip to be like when they have an itinerary for a trip, I'm like, yo, I'm already getting a headache. I don't even want to go no more. I was like, it's too much. Unless it was like a wedding, like it was like, okay, that makes sense. There's like certain things. But other than that, I'm just like, no, okay, there could be certain things. Like, I want to go see, I don't know, the Eiffel Tower and then go have a croissant or something. That makes sense. But when it's like this, 9 a.m. breakfast, about 10 p.m. 10 a.m. we out. Like I'm like, no.
You like go with the flow, but
yeah, I'm just like, no, it gives me a headache. It gives me anxiety. I'm like, no, I can't do that.
I think it depends. Like for me, like I'm not saying I know, like, okay, I'm gonna marry this man or whatever, but I think by date 2 or 3, like I am interested in like actually dating this person further, or I'm not.
See, going back to what I said before, people don't show their true colors right away. So by the 3rd day, I'm like, I don't even know you like that. Like, let's just chill, relax, let's just go with the flow. So that's why sometimes like conflict with some of those people like that.
Yeah.
It's like the vibe. If the vibes are there, they're there. If they're not there, then I'm not going to construct it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like usually if you hit it off, you hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
And that chemistry is going to be there. And if you have no chemistry, I mean, like, I don't know if it's different for you, but for me, I can sense it like sooner. I don't really need to have like conversations for far too long for me to get to what your vibe is and whether we'd be great or not. Like, if I was in a relationship space, if I wanted to be in a relationship with someone, then I would approach it differently. I would actually take the time to get to know them and all of those things. But otherwise, if it's going to be a hookup, it's going to be surface level anyway. And you just need to see for me, I would just see if I'm having fun or not. If I'm having fun, they're having fun, then great. If that's not happening on their end, then I'd be like, all right, thank you for your time. I will see you maybe never.
I'll see your stories.
Yeah.
Forever until the end of time. I have a question. I feel like I know a little bit of how Saachin is going to take this.
Okay.
Do you guys judge, or like does it change your impression of a woman when they actually like get physical with you? Like, I know, okay, because you're in home mode, you're like, I'm not gonna waste time if it takes too long. But like if you saw somebody and you were like actually interested in them and they were to tell you like, oh, they have like a 30-day rule, that crap that women come up. I'm sorry to my people, but I think it's crap. Of like, oh, I have this rule of like, I'm not gonna have sex until date 10 or whatever. Or would you think differently of a woman like that? Or on the other side, if you're like really into a girl and you're considering a relationship and she has sex like on the earlier side, would that make you feel away? Like, what's your impression of that? How does that affect your view of them?
For me, they tell me right away they got like a 30-day rule. Is like setting those ridges again. So I'm just like, yo, like chill, just go with the flow, whatever happens. If you have the rule, I respect them. I'm like, okay, fine, but it in the back of my head, it tells me a little bit about who you are as a person, right? And then other than that, whether you had sex on the first day or it took a while, I think for me it doesn't really matter. Unless I just want something physical and it's taking too long, then I'm like, okay, like I guess it's not gonna happen. It's time to move on. But does it affect you as a person? I don't think so. Not for me.
I don't think. I mean, it doesn't matter. Not to me. I don't care really. I mean, like there are many people have come up with these rules, and they're all arbitrary. It just doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're going to be in a physical a relationship with someone, does it matter how soon it happened or how late it happened, if that's the intention? And I don't know if I'm with you there. It doesn't really matter if you're going with the flow and if it happens early or if it happens late. It's just the vibe. I mean, it's whatever happened. Like, you're both adults. Like, you're not going to change after something happened. That's just because you got physical. That was your intention too. So I mean, like, I don't judge women based on that. I mean, like, I usually don't judge a lot because I'm narcissistic. I'm kidding. But it's like, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change my perception of them. No, it doesn't.
Now, kind of along those same lines,
Mhm.
one of the reasons for the podcast is to talk about like late bloomers and the stuff that we go through.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys ever, been involved with a late bloomer? If so,
Mhm.
what was that experience like for you?
Mhm.
And if not, how would you feel about that if you were like dating a girl and she told you that like she was a late bloomer?
For me, I guess I don't know. I mean, what is a late bloomer? You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, it's kind of perspective. You know, some people might think 16 is late. Some people might think 16 is early. Like it all depends. Like for a guy, 21 might be considered late. You know, but for a girl, it might be okay. You know, so I think for me, it's all perspective. And in that sense, I don't know if I had ever a late bloomer.
Just to give it to some kind of like hypothetical context, the name of the podcast is 30-Year-Old Virgin. How would you feel if you were like dating somebody and you found out that they were still a virgin?
It wouldn't change the person, my perspective of the person, in any way. However, if I was looking to hook up, you know, and
Oh,
then
then yeah.
the girl told me she's a virgin, I'm like, right, it's gonna take a while. It's not gonna be as easy as I thought it would be, you know. But if I'm looking for a relationship and I really like the girl, I don't think it would matter. I would just know that she's not as experienced, so I would have to teach her some stuff, or she not might be good at some things and stuff like that. So it's gonna be more of a learning process, right? Which is okay. It all depends on what the guy wants. If he wants to have fun, it's gonna take a while to get to that fun part, you know.
Mm.
But I think it's alright. It's just you don't have to you don't have to go through the learning process. That's all.
Right. What about you,
I
Sachin?
was a late bloomer. I would consider 25 really late. So I was a late bloomer, and I didn't disclose it to anyone
Mm.
because till that point in time, like if you're at that stage, you just go, you know what, I'm just gonna get it over with, and no one has to know.
Mhm.
I don't know if it happened. It's different for women, but for me at least, it was just like I just need to get this over with, and then move on to the next thing. It was
Mhm.
like because I had like you put so much especially thinking as a late bloomer, you put like so much stress on that first time. It's like it has to be perfect, it has to be with the right person. Let me just say this, it's not going to be great, like no
Nope.
matter who it is. It is not, the first time is not going, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the first time you're like, oh, this is what sex is like. That's the first thought that comes to your mind. It's not even anything else. It's like, this is so overrated. The first thing that you think after you've done it is like, this was really, really overrated. It just not the same as I thought it was. And then I think that's when the new phase starts, when you don't get anything for a few days after that. Then you go, why am I missing something in my life? So I like, get it over with. Like find some random, I mean, like you want to make it special and whatnot. It's not going to be special. Even if it's like a fucking Disney prince, it's still going to be the same.
I think so. I feel like it's so weird because you don't even know how you feel about sex being a
Yeah.
late bloomer.
Right.
But then like feel like there's so much pressure because you think that you're the only one who hasn't had sex yet.
Yeah.
And then everyone's giving you conflicting, like, there's people who say get it over with, then there's people who say like hold it forever, like make it special, whatever. Like I will say when the first time I had sex, I was like, this was not what I thought it was gonna be.
Exactly.
I really had like in my mind, like this is I'm gonna find a man and we're gonna have such a beautiful connection. And it wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you said, it was so anticlimactic that I was
Yeah.
like, if I never do this again, I'm okay with that. Like I don't
Yeah.
think this is for me. I literally was like, I don't think this is for me, and I don't understand why people have been hyping this up.
Yeah, it's
That like I will say, yeah, like I'm not saying throw it away like Sachin, but like
throw it away. And believe me, throw it away.
Just
I
throw it
think-
to the
I
window.
think you should
Throw
be
that ass
somewhat
back.
special. I mean, you only lose your virginity once, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to go to like the local corner lady or guy or whatever and just be like, fuck it, I just want to get over with. Nah, like it can't be like
Just
that.
get a guy. Just kidding.
I think
We volunteer. We volunteer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll do. I mean, like,
everybody
can-
slide into Sachin's. No, I think I think it's just don't have so much expectations of it is
Yeah.
really
That's
what
true.
it is. I think the expectations just get so exponential with time
Yeah.
that like to me, like I'm very sex positive and I was like, I didn't even think I was gonna be in love. I was like, oh, I just wanted to like happen naturally or whatever.
Yeah.
And even then I'm like, my expectations were way too high. My expectations were
Really?
this was not what I thought it was gonna be.
I know there's so much to explore. It's like you also go through a phase of just like trying everything you can try. And then you suddenly go, oh, I don't need to try 30 things. I like 3 things. that's gonna get me there, and that's great too.
Yeah.
But it takes trying 30 things to know you like only 3 things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When are you going to do the 30 things if you like delay it?
So what Saachin said was give it away and then be a whore.
Yes, give it away, be a whore, and then you get to decide
Just
what
try
you
it, try
like
it all,
and
see what you like. You do gotta try it all though, and see what you like. It's true.
Yeah.
That part is true.
And I think, like, I hate to say, like, at the end of the day, like, if you haven't had any experience, like, you need to figure out what your relationship even is with sex.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Saachin. I'm a little loosey goosey now. I'm a little loosey. I say sex positive because it sounds better. I'm a little loosey goosey. But that's how you figure out, like, okay, this is how I feel about sex. Like, some people have a bad relationship. They need it for, validation or for, they think they're gonna find love through it. Maybe that's the case for you. Maybe it's not. But you're not gonna know until you kind of experiment with it.
Yeah, you know what you can do? Find a friend. That's I think that's a
it might complicate things. You
I'm
know?
like Jamie's like, I did that.
like find a friend. What I'm saying is find a friend who you're like moderately attracted to, but like you're not the closest. Like,
and you can risk losing it.
You can either risk losing it or you can control it. You can plan it.
You gotta risk. I guess in a way losing it. It's definitely gonna be awkward the first time. I think you guys see each other after trying some things out. But I think the big factor is to not catch feelings. You can't catch feelings. Once you catch feelings, like
that's
your
what I'm saying.
friendship,
Like, just catch.
Yeah.
Find. You know what you can do. Find an acquaintance. Just be like, hey, I know you. I've seen you around in the neighborhood.
You've been trying to get rid of.
Yes, and just be like, hey, do you want to just like get it over with and use those words, get it over with? Because I mean, like, I don't think losing your virginity is it's like you just get, it's just the first experience. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it is negative, like losing your virginity as if it was a thing to be lost. It's just the first time you do something. It's like trying a new food and like trying different, like maybe fried chicken from another culture and be like, hey, this is interesting, because it's going to be interesting only. The first time you're not going to go on all night long. You're going to be like 30 minutes and then you'll be like, I just need some time to myself.
I think 30 minutes is a lot.
Nice. Such right? We're like, wait a minute. 30 minutes?
Like, damn,
you got 30 minutes in you, such shit.
Especially not the first time. At least for a guy, especially not for a guy.
Okay, I mean, I can...
He had all this pent-up energy.
Oh yeah. I read so many books on it. Like, I was like a reader at that time. I read so much stuff on it. I'd seen interviews of people. I had gone to that point where I was watching porn. And then I got to the point where I would watch interviews with porn stars where they would describe their experiences on set and everything. So it became like a technical know-how sort of thing for me by that time.
I'm laughing at you, Saachin, because I'm like, we're the same person.
Yeah.
I was like an expert. Like I was watching educationally, like, this is what you do with your hands.
That's what happens.
To be real, porn does help to a certain point. I think some scenes are a little too extreme and unrealistic,
and,
right?
Terrifying, and like, you're like, I don't want to do that.
I had the anatomy of the vulva down pat. I was just like, labia majora, labia minora. That's the urethra.
But at the end of the day, you can read all the books you want, but it won't be the same as being in person. You know what I mean? It's like, it's through experience you definitely learn. But it does help. It does help doing your homework for sure. It makes it a little easier in a way,
Yeah, I think the main thing is like disregard what Saachin said about throw it out the window. But I think the main thing is don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, I would like to apologize to the first person I was with because I treated you like a scientific specimen, and that's my
Wait,
bad.
did you guys talk about it and you agreed to become a scientific experiment? Or
It was like, there was my third date with someone. And like the circumstances of me losing my virginity were kind of sad because I lost my friend on a Thursday. Like, he had an accident. He just passed away, freak accident. And
That's
I was
terrible.
like, he was a virgin. I can't die a virgin. I just can't.
Wow.
That was my greatest fear too.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I can't.
For me, I don't know. Honestly, I was definitely not a late bloomer. And it wasn't underrated for me because I was really young. I was like 13 maybe or 12, around there. And I didn't last long. I think I lost it to like a slut, but she was good. So, and that part it was a positive. So maybe find kind of a slut, you know? She knows what she's doing,
Yes.
or he knows what he's doing. A whore,
Guys
yeah.
and girls, yes, sluts.
Yeah, they know what they're
on
doing.
All
They,
genders, sluts.
Yeah, it's true.
Find a slut.
But for me, it wasn't. It was good. It definitely didn't last long, and I was kind of like, damn. I was a little ashamed because I didn't last long for some reason. I don't know why. And I was just like, I gotta go. I think I cut school and everything. Yeah, it was like, I gotta go.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, I think for me it was different because like I had completed all my physical growth. Like my prefrontal cortex was developed and everything. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm in charge now. I was just like, the whole thing was also like, when you're 25 and you've actually had a job for like 3 or 4 years where you're making decisions, and then you go, I haven't lost my, I mean, like I haven't had sex. You go, what are you doing? Just get it over with.
Yeah.
Why you? For me, at least, I was like very logical and rational at that time. So I was like, you know what? It's gonna suck, but it's okay. Just get it done. You have this weekend. Your friend has died. Do you want to die? No. And I think it was just like grief as well that had numbed me for most things. So I was just like, you know what, let me just get this experience where it could be a distraction to me. So it was possibly like a distraction. So my circumstances were different from anyone else.
I think it depends on the person. If you wanted to be special, then fine. You know, try to make it as special as you can. Just keep in mind that a lot of things are gonna be out of your control, right? And if you just want to get over with and you were thinking about it and you're not sure, just go for it. Whatever it is, just go for it. Just keep in mind that it's not going to be as the way you think of it, the way you imagine it, and there's some aspects that are going to be out of your control, like I mentioned. So if you go with that, I think you guys should be okay.
Also, keep water, electrolytes, and like a good playlist that relaxes you on other days, so that if nothing, I mean, like at least then your nerves don't get shot. Like don't drink. Also, I mean, like, don't drink too much. Don't be drunk too much.
I don't know.
I don't think you should be drunk.
It kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah. I did mine drunk, and that was the part that I wasn't happy
Well, maybe
about,
not the first time.
so,
Maybe the first time shouldn't be drunk, but
like,
later on it will help. Guys.
One drink. Have one drink so that you're like
enough to still be like cognizant of like, because I wasn't like trash drunk, but I did feel like I think if it wasn't for all that sangria, I don't think I would have done that. So.
Right.
But we are wrapping up on time. First, I want to make sure to shout out everybody's